What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, when I was growing up, monster trucking, well, this was monster trucking. You know, those trucks, you could fit your head between the tire and the top of the wheel well, you know what I mean? Nowadays, this is monster trucking. This is the term. So this guy is monster trucking. I mean, you can't fit a head in here. I mean, you might be able to fit my other head in here. So today I got a treat for you. We are going to drop the height of this car to make it look a little more aggressive and sleek with H&R drop springs. Now, this car has the electronic dampening, and I don't want to lose that. So all we're going to do is pop the stock springs off, put the H&Rs on, and I do believe it is going to lower at 1.4 in the front and 1.3 in the rear. But this isn't going to be like your typical install video that you see. It's not going to be 45 minutes long. Well, I don't think it's going to be 45 minutes long. I'm not going to bore you with time lapses and all that crap. I'm just going to show you what I'm doing, what bolts I'm removing, compressing the spring, putting it back on, before and after. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. That being said, timestamps. So front install is going to be right here. Rear install is going to be here. So if you need to, you can skip ahead. Right now, I'm going to unbox these guys, see what they're all about. Alright, I did my research on the springs. They, pretty much everybody I saw is going to use these. I didn't want to go adjustable. I just want to drop it a little over an inch, and these are going to do that. I don't have to worry about adjustability or anything like that, because I don't really care. Here they are. Alright, nice. Alright, so here are definitely the shortest ones. And these are the tallest. So I don't know which is which, but we'll find that out when I take the old ones off. Or when I read the instructions. Better get those, I'm gonna need them. Oh, look at that! That's a pretty looking Porsche. Can't afford one. Okay, so front springs are marked with either an F or a VA. So the taller ones are the rear. Look at that, because they're marked with an R. Dude. And then these guys are marked with a F. So, cool. Okay. So it's got some cool stuff where we can log our inches before and after, our measurements. That's cool. Cool. Check this out. Right there. Right there. Right here. So we're going to put the stock height right there. I'm going to measure all four. And then afterwards, we're going to fill it in. We'll see what kind of results I get. Now, I'm not going to do that right away. I'm not going to fill it in right away. What I'm going to do is, it's winter time, so I can't say drive it around, but I guess drive it around in the driveway a little bit and jump up and down on it and trying to get them to settle, right? Alright, enough of this. I got to get these stupid locking lug nuts off of the rear tires. And then I'm going to get this thing up on the lift. Alright, I got it in the air, got the wheels and tires off. Front one come off. Whoever did the front brakes on this thing, some idiot, put them back on with a stinking Milwaukee impact. So that took me a minute. But anyway, alright, on to the front. We're going to do the front right. Okay, so the first step that I know of is I need to remove the bolt here and the bolt here. And then hopefully this thing turns around and comes back. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, because I think there's more to it. But, well, obviously I have to unbolt the 3 bolts from the top hat, and then the one from the bottom, right? One. Yeah, right there. A bolt that goes through right there. And we'll see what happens. Oh, so I got that linkage done right there. Super simple. Torx bit in the middle, and then hold the outside nut with an 18 mil, and then with the Torx bit on the inside, just tighten it, and then it will loosen that nut. And then I took the bolt out of the bottom, As far as that Torx bit goes, that Torx bit is a 40. T40. Now the hard part. This arm, you can only access one side of each bolt, okay? Now here, this first bolt, right down here. Right down there. There it is, right? Yeah. Now on this side, I don't know. For instance, let's compare. This side is gonna be easy. There's a bolt right there, and then you come to this side, and the other one's right down there. I can't see that side, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. All right, y'all. This is where I have a chat with you about doing your research. But you know what? God dang it, there are so many options on these friggin' BMWs, it's insane, okay? Right? This thing is the next best thing to an M5, and you just kind of assume that it's got electronic dampening control, just like everything else. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's just a strut. Another thing, they're talking, everybody who does this takes off the upper control arm and swings it around. It is a pain in the butt on this thing. The stupid DME is in the way on the one side. You just can't get to anything. You need 16 mil wrenches that are like this long. Dang, yo. And my boot's broke. That's fucking great. Another boot. But anyway, you know, I took the bottom bolt out. I took the 3 top bolts out. Bam! Fell right to the ground. Alright, so like I was just saying, the bolts up here, I didn't have to mess with them. So I took the linkage off of here, the bolt off of the bottom, 3 bolts on the top, and it fell right out. All I had to do was push this down a little bit, get the forks out of the way, and then that was it. So right now I'm going to tighten that bad boy back up, so I don't have to deal with the shock being in the way, or the strut. And then, yeah, because to get to this, I was going to take the whole DME out, and, you know, pull it out. No, that's not the case. This is a pain in the butt, and it's liquid cooled. So I definitely didn't want to do that. So there we are. Well, I'm going to tell you, that was not fun. It took every inch of this spring compressor to get these things compressed. And then my boot's bad. It's all ripped, and my bump stop looks like crap. Guess I'm gonna have to replace it, huh? So this is the stock front, and this is the aftermarket front. Definitely smaller. This is some super haggard ingenuity here, but these things, they're like 50 bucks, man, and I'm not gonna be able to get them for I don't know how long. So all I did was I took off the other side, and both of them crack right here. So there's 3 pieces here. Got the bump stop, the boot, and then basically this is your boot attachment for your cover and your bump stop. So all I did was glue those cracks on each side with good old Gorilla Glue, sticks to anything, and let them sit overnight. We're good to go. So I'm gonna go put them back on the shocks, throw the springs on, and we'll get to it. Shocks are disassembled, struts, whatever you want to call them, who cares? They're disassembled now, so they're shocks and springs. Ooh, like a glove. It don't fit. Don't fit. Probably gonna tear this whole thing up putting this spring compressor back on it. But hey, I tried, right? Yes, I do. I think that's gonna work pretty good. All right, object here is to try and not destroy the bump stop. I'm beating the crap out of the bump stop. Hopefully that glue works. All right, so just like before, when I took them off, I gotta put the socket in, and then you have to be able to hit the end with an Allen key, or an Allen bit, which is a 6 mil. And you want to have this on loosen. That way it'll tighten the 18 mil. There it is. She's in. All right. Now, we'll slowly back off the springs and hopefully my boots and bump stop survive. Ripped it right apart. Oh well. It was ripped before I took them off, so hey. All right, strut is back together. All good. Time to go back in. And as a reminder, I'm gonna wedge it up in there. I'm gonna push down on the knuckle, get the fork over the lower, and then I'll get the top hat up here, and I will start the 3 10 mils. After those are started, I'll push the strut up and line up that bolt and bottom, and then I'll line up the end link here. Make sure everything is, you know, started, and then I'll start tightening. Yeah, I'll do the top first, tighten the top hat first, then the bottom, and then I'll do the end link. Front right is done. This is not a big deal. If I wouldn't have watched a bunch of videos and did a bunch of research and just went at it myself, I would have been better, because I would have looked at it and said, oh, this is all I need to do. You know, and made it a lot easier. If you remove this cap right here, you can tell if there's a sensor plugged in there or not. If they're not, you got it made like me, and you don't have electronic shocks, whatever. So, you just got the 3 bolts, 10 mils up top. You got your end link right here, which is an 18 mil and then a T40 on the inside. And then 18 mil and a 21 mil hold that bottom bolt. Now, yeah, it looks good except for my Gorilla Glue job there, but you're not gonna be able to see it anyway. So it's all in. Now, one thing to remember, when you are putting these struts back together, these move, okay? So what you wanna do is when you have the spring compressed, everything on there, you wanna make sure your forks are parallel to you. And then the top hat right here, you got 3 holes for the 10 mils, right? So the top hat, let me show you. One of these bolts out front, you want just a little to the left of you. And that'll line up really perfectly with them holes. You don't want it straight out, you know, with the forks. You don't want it straight out. You want it just a little bit to the left, and then you'll be good. But just eyeball it. So that's for the front right. So your reference points are your holes. Now this one looks straight out, right? Maybe a little bit to the right. So when you stand here perfectly parallel and you look at it, this guy looks like it's touched to the right, which is going to be the opposite of this one I put on. So basically those bolts right there are turned to the back of the car. So that's what you want to remember, or else you're going to be recompressing the spring, turning it until you get the right orientation. Sometimes the spring's going to twist while you're messing with it anyway. You might have to snug the springs back up, loosen the top hat bolt, and then put it in a vise and just turn it a little bit. That'll work too, but just make sure you have that alignment, or else it's just not going to bolt back up. There is a little bit of play on those 10 mil holes in the car. They're bored out a little bit more side to side, so you have a little bit of wiggle room, but not a whole lot. So yeah, all right guys, I'm going to finish the other side and then we'll get to the back. Front's back together. Now onto the rear. We'll worry about the top in a minute. But the bottom here, what we got is we got a single bolt right there. We gotta get that guy out of there. And from the looks of it, it's gonna take some extensions and maybe a swivel, but it's definitely a super long extension. Remember the bolts out of the back? Those were super tight. I took my breaker bar, and then I took the top handle of my little aluminum Harbor Freight jack, took that out, and I needed that for the added breaker bar leverage, because it was not coming out. even with my Milwaukee turned up all the way, it wasn't touching it. So I got her loose. After that, spun them out with a Milwaukee. Now, I'm gonna lower the car, pop off the rear speaker cover and speaker, and I'll show you, you can get those top three top hat bolts. All right, speaker cover. Pops off of there with a trim tool. And then 3 T20s screws holding in the speaker. Just toss the speaker aside. And then you rip this sound deadening out that's right there. You can feel the dome. Just kind of rip it out. It's all one piece through the back dash, it seems to be. So this part pulled out, no big deal, but you got to rip the other side. It rips super easy. You don't need a knife or nothing. Just grab a hold of it. And then you can see down there, yeah, your 3 10 mil nuts onto them studs. I can't get my fat head in there to see, so I'm just going to feel. And I'm going to put a T10, stupid German cars. All right, I'm going to apologize right now for my mess up. I've been telling you these top hat bolts are 10 mils. They're not 10 mils. They're 13 mils. I don't know why I didn't notice. But anyway, I got them off of here. Man, that was not fun. It's kind of a tight, super tight area, right? So I got them out. I took this side piece off, thought I could see in there. That was a mistake. So don't worry about that unless you have the electronic dampening. Then you have to unplug it down here and you have to take this off. But it pulls out and then you have to pull it back and then straight up because the long plastic piece down there slides into here. So, yep, I'm gonna lift this baby up now, see if I can get this strut out of here. Rear strut is out. That was really fun to try and shimmy through that whole ordeal, but I did get it out. Luckily, it's gonna be a little bit smaller going back in, and it'll make it easier, you know, obviously. I noticed that the bump stop is the only thing that's still lasting on this one. The boot's completely gone. So, guess I went overboard with my neediness on the other one, but I'm not gonna worry about it. Yeah. All right, so this one's gonna be very particular. The top hat, they're not evenly spaced. So when you put it back on, towards me is the rear of the car. These two that are next to each other need to be right here, parallel to you, and then this one that's further away is facing the front of the car. So when you put it back together and you get ready to move it around, make sure it's lined up, make sure that's what you do. This top hat's definitely curved too because of the spring, but hey, let's compress this bad boy and get the new one on. Well, these, getting the springs off the rears, they were way easier. You don't have to compress the spring as much as the front. So let's see. Small side of the spring still goes on the bottom, and yeah, definitely a difference. Definitely a difference. Not a whole lot. It looks more like, if you actually look at it, this spring keeps going upwards at a pretty big angle. This one is almost like it's the same spring, but it's bent down flatter. So it could be the same length of coil. I don't know. Either way, whatever. So we're gonna put this bad boy on, get it back in the car, this is gonna probably prove to be the toughest one because I think I'm gonna have somebody in the car, in the back. I don't know. We'll see. It might be a challenge. I'll let you know what I do, obviously. Duh. But, there that goes. Hopefully that's perfect. It looks perfect. Hopefully it's perfect, but there you go. That's it, man. Time to put it back in the car. It's me. Time to put it back in the car. All right, guys. For me, definitely the hardest part of this job so far was we get this back strut in. And I am dreading the other side. But now I know what to do. So I started with the 3 13 mil bolts, nuts, in the top. I got it up there, right? And then I wedged my Milwaukee big battery underneath of it to keep it up there. Went in the car, put the 13 mil nuts on, tightened them both up, put all that back together, got down there. I took a ratchet strap, Not the big one. That was trial and error. I took the little ratchet strap around the rotor and the caliper and put my knee through it, my left knee. That way I could push down on the whole knuckle while I can get the shock back in the groove and start that big old bolt. That's how I did it. It worked. It worked. So I'm gonna get this bad boy back together and I guess do the... Okay, my GoPro and I are fighting, but anyway, yeah, so I knelt down on that guy, enough to get that big old bolt going in, and I'm gonna put this guy back together now and get to doing the other side. And then we can actually put the tires on, lower it down, see how it looks. Honestly, I can't wait. It's been a bigger job than I thought, but having to do this a second time, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. All that crap in the front, but anyway, here we go. The rears are all installed. After you figure out the right way to do it, I probably said this 8,000 times in this video already, but you could do this again in a breeze. But why are you gonna, unless you do it to a buddy's car or something? Yeah, all right. So wheels are back on. I'm gonna set her down, see what we get. I'm gonna torque the wheels this time to spec instead of, you know, the highest setting on the Milwaukee. And then we'll see if she gets any settling. If not, we'll make her settle. So here we go. Still monster trucking, so definitely have to make it settle. So yeah, let me get these arms out of the way. Yeah, unplug your battery before you do this because your alarm will go off. For sure. Is it going down? The hood is. It's lower, I can tell that. Measurements. All right. I'm gonna drive this in the summertime. I'll take measurements right now, but I'll retake them after I drive this around for a while, which isn't going to be anytime soon because it's 0 degrees outside. There's like 12 inches of snow. On the rear, both sides on the rear, we're 14 and a half. No, we're 14 3/4. So we got some settling to do, obviously. I'm at 14 and a half in the front, which was 14 3/4. I'll get this thing to settle either way, and then we'll rejoin this, because me jumping on the car didn't do it. All right, here we go. So I've done my best to drive this thing like back and forth out of the garage, back into the garage. I'm getting more settling in the rear right now. I'm at like 3/4 of an inch lower right now in the rear, 1/2 an inch lower in the front. But with driving that, it's gonna settle more. So, you know, when I do like a full mod video of this later on in the year, I'll put the before and after it's settled and everything. But like I said, after you do it once, it's a breeze. So I will have the link in the description below for these springs, H&R Springs. They're a cheaper route than going full coilovers. If you want the adjustability part, you can get adjustable springs as well. I know a lot of people do that. But in my opinion, the suspension on this thing feels amazing. So I didn't want to get rid of the stock shocks, even though they didn't wind up being the electronic dampening control. But anyway, yeah, so that's it for this video, guys. Until we meet again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Later. So, side note here, while we're waiting 8 years for this thing to settle, I've had people tell me, oh, man, you got pretty boy tools you don't use them. Something like that. No, I take care of my stuff. So after every use, this is what I do. Back in the day, I used to use alcohol in a rag or whatever. Nowadays, you know, we like to fill up our landfills full of crap. So why not use these sanitizing wipes? I don't care about the sanitizing. I just care about keeping the tools clean. And you know, I think that's part of it. Plus the other part of it, before I had tools, I had to buy them, right? You know, I was young, teenager. I wanted to buy tools that would last the rest of my life because the first time I bought them was at a flea market, and they were, you know, chrome vanadium garbage made elsewhere. So I found out really fast doing my first drive shaft that they break. Snap the wrenches right in half. So I went to Sears and I bought everything Craftsman. Sockets, ratchets, wrenches, ratchet wrenches, screwdrivers, you name it. So that's back when Craftsman was really good. I don't know if they are anymore. To be honest with you, let me know down below what you guys experience with Craftsman nowadays, because I haven't bought a Craftsman tool in a long time, and I'm actually kind of curious. Typically now, it depends on what tool I need, but if it's something dumb, like something that I'm going to use hardly ever, I go to Harbor Freight and buy something. You know, if I have to buy something that I'm going to use a lot, I typically buy a different brand that's made here in the US. Tecton. Tecton's a big one. Actually, I don't even know where they're made. I think they're made here. I could be wrong. But, you know, if I need, like, I needed an 18 mil. I don't know, someone ran off and didn't return it or whatever, but I went and bought a Tecton 18 mil. Haven't had any issues with it, but buy a wrench like that down at the hardware store to replace your Craftsman, and it's like probably 15 bucks. But yeah, enough rambling. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna clean this stuff up and get back to it.